Well, to do Pysanky, you do need a pad of wax. This wax is blackened because of the carbon from the candle, and that will leave a black line on the egg, but you want that because if you didn't have it mixed with the black, it would be invisible, and then you wouldn't get to see where you have drawn. A candle is needed. Now, kiska is the word for chicken bone, and it's believed that maybe that was the first tools that they used to put the wax onto the eggs. This is a typical traditional kiska that's wooden with a brass funnel lashed to it with copper wire. I tend to not use it because the hole is actually too large for the design that I like to do on my eggs. I use the Delrin kiskas. And this one is the fine. This one is the medium. And those are the two that I'll be using today. So first, you have a chicken egg. I have pre-drawn my lines in with pencil. I use a very hard pencil, an 8H, which is for stone drawing. It does not have an eraser because you do not want to do any erasures on your egg. If there's any lines I don't want, I just basically take the pencil and draw an X through what I don't want to follow with the wax, because your pencil lines will not matter. It's what you do with the wax, because the wax is what reacts with the dye. So first, you want to hold the kiska in the candle flame to heat it, and then you put it into the pad of wax, and it melts down into the wax and draws it up into the kiska. And I start with drawing a ring around my hole. That will help me later when I want to fill the hole, because you don't want any of the dye getting into your egg when you put it into the dyes. It also gives me a starting place for my eternity line. This is my eternity line that goes all the way around the egg. Wax cools, so you kind of get into a rhythm of heating the wax and drawing on the egg, and then heating the wax and drawing on the egg. So I have my eternity line, and when I look at my example, I know that I need to do the line that goes around here in white. I've just finished this line. No, I've just finished this line. So I need to do this line and this line in white, which is covering the white egg with the wax to keep it white. Okay, so I have both of those lines drawn on the egg. Now I need to do the one around the middle. So I have my lines around the sides, and I have my one around the middle. So now I need to do my ram's horns. That's these here. So we have our ram's horns done, and what will become the white. And what we need to do now is I'm going to take my medium kiska and I'm going to seal my egg. Since the Ukrainians use full eggs for their Pysanky, they don't have to deal with this. But since I blow my eggs, I have to cover the hole. It's going to be difficult. Come on. Alrighty. So now the egg is sealed. I'm going to save my candle a little bit. And now what I do is I put it in a solution of 1 cup water and 1/4 cup vinegar. Alrighty. And I use a little jar to keep the egg down since it's hollow. Oh no, I've got something on there. Now hopefully that will come off. Alrighty. Maybe I'll pick up the other things there. Okay, now we're going to keep that in the solution for 2 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to take it out of the vinegar and we're going to put it in yellow. The yellow won't take near as long. Yellow is just whenever it reaches the color that you want it to have. It's not good to leave them in too long because the vinegar in the dye will cause the shell to disintegrate at some point, so you don't want to leave it too long. All right. So we're going to dry it off. And it's best to have a bowl that you can keep your egg in when you're not working on it, so that it doesn't roll off the table or something tragic like that. All right, so now we have it yellow. So when we look at our design, we have yellow here. That's a symbol of a tree. And we have that on both sides, but no other yellow. So those are the lines that we're going to be putting on it now. Because the other lines we covered when it was white are going to stay white. And these lines that we're putting on now that it's yellow are going to stay yellow. Okay, so we have our trees on the first side. Now we're going to turn it over, and we're going to do the trees on the second side. So I have the yellow on both of my sides for the tree. Now there are green dots on my design, and so I'm going to just put that on with a Q-tip because we don't need to submerge the egg and make it all green because we just have small touches. Let's see here. We have a little bit here. We can just put it in the general area because anything that we don't cover with the wax will be taken off with the orange, which comes next, because it will eradicate any green that's outside of where the wax is. And we have one in the middle. Looks like we have one on the side, right here. Okay. So that's all the green that we have, so put that away. All right, so now that we've got the dye on there, we want to cover it. Whoops, I'm going to use my little bit heavier one to get these dots done. Okay. That, and then there's one in the center, and then the dots at the end of the trees. Okay, there's that. Side's done. Always remember you've got two sides, so you want to make sure that you have finished both sides with each design feature. All right. So we've got all of our green done, and our next color is going to be orange. Now orange is special because it's the only one of the dyes that does not require vinegar to be put with it, and it will change. It will take up the coloring that's been done so far. So if at this point we wanted to change it to blue or turquoise or some other color scheme, we would put it in the orange first, and then we would transfer to the pink or the green or the blue or some other color. Right now, we're going from yellow, orange, red to black, so we don't really need to change our color. But it will take out the green that's outside of what we've got here. And any green that's not taken out by the orange will be covered up with the black. Black will be our last color. I'll leave that for a second or two. Let's see if we can get it a little bit deeper. Now, because most people get their eggs from the grocery store, you may end up with some imperfections in the eggshells from grocery store eggs. But for the most part, they tend to take the dye on pretty easily with the vinegar start. Don't put the vinegar on any other time, but the vinegar start should soften up the shell a little bit, and then it'll accept the colors a little better. But you will end up with some random areas that maybe the dye won't cover quite as well. Okay, this looks pretty good. You always want to make sure that you're just dabbing and not rubbing the dye off. Now see, as we get into the deeper colors, you can tell that my Kroger egg has some areas that don't want to dye very well. They must set them up rollers or something because they tend to have streaks sometimes. Okay. So now we've got the orange features in our egg. We have orange that's going to be in the dots, and the dots on the tree, which these must be fruit trees because they've got little orange tips on them. And then we have these other symbols of trees that are orange. And same on the back side. So those are the things that we need to do with our orange. Since these are smaller dots, I'm going to go with my fine Kiska. Okay. So we're going to do our dot at the bottom. And our fruit on our little trees. trees to go. So we've got our orange dots and our fruit. Oh, it's a good thing to look because we didn't have that put in yet. Okay, now we just have the ones at the top. Okay, so now we have all of our orange. Okay, now we're going to put it in scarlet. So our scarlet, we're going to have these teardrops or petals. We've got our dots at the top between the ram's horns. And I like to put my initials and the year at the bottom, just so that I know when I did my design. So those are the things we're going to put in while it's red. scarlet covered pretty well most of the flaws. Okay, put that in our bowl. Now, we want to do the petals. And the little dots between our ram's horns. So that's what we're doing next. Sometimes it takes a little nudging to get the wax started in a spot that you're not drawing from another line. Okay, now we're going to do the dots on the top. Okay. Oh, my initials on the bottom. So we've got our red petals and the red dots. Now our last color is black. And you might have to leave the egg in black for a little while longer because you want that to cover the whole all of the colors that you've put on it up to this point. Once we've got all of the dyes on, then we'll wait a minute or two to make sure that they're set. And then we're going to use the candle, the heat from the candle, to melt the wax. And then we'll get to see all of the designs that were kept by the wax each time we changed color on the egg. Let's take that out and take a look and see whether that's covered well enough. Looks like there might be some places underneath, but they just may not die because of the Kroger egg. Okay. Our egg is now fully dyed with the black dye and all of those colors. You can sort of see a little bit through the wax, those colors that we've saved as we've decorated it. Okay. We're going to carefully take the wax off of the egg. The first thing we want to do, though, is the hole that we put the wax in to keep the egg dry inside. We're going to melt that out first, because there's a chance that there have been dyes that have seeped in through the pores in the eggshell. And if we heat up the egg to get the wax melted, it will build up pressure inside the egg, and it will force the dyes out through the pores in the egg, and you will end up with a spotty looking egg. So we want to be sure to get rid of that plug first. Let's see if I can move these just a little bit here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just gently hold the egg close enough to the flame. And see, you can tell that the pressure from the air on the insides come out. See? It's starting to show the colors. We're just gonna hold it just carefully until the wax starts to glisten. And when it looks wet, we know that it's warm enough to melt it. And we gently rub it off on our tissue. And we always try to get a clean place in our tissue each time so that we're not rubbing that dirty wax back onto our egg. See? Well, where's our... There. See those colors that were underneath the wax are beginning to show. Progress from clean to dirty so that you're wiping away from the wax so that your colors stay nice. Now you don't want to put the egg into the candle, because you'll get soot from the candle flame onto your design, and you don't want to have it sooty. See, you can almost see part of the design that got rubbed off, the wax that got rubbed off. Okay, so this is what we started with, and this is what's underneath. So we keep moving our way around the egg. Heating the design. Rubbing the wax off. Time for a clean one. So we're going to start on this side. Okay, and there's our finished design. And we've got it all cleaned off. Almost looks like the other one, our sample. Now these dyes are water soluble. You don't want to handle the egg too much because the dyes will come off on your fingers. To protect your egg, you'll want to put a clear coat of finish on it. It needs to be something that is oil-based or like a shellac. You don't want to use anything that is water-based brush on, or it will just take all of your color off. I use a Krylon crystal clear triple, I think it's triple, let me get that. Triple thick crystal clear glaze. And I hang my eggs after I get the gold top on them. I glue the gold top over the hole, and then I hang them and spray them with this. And it makes a nice shiny coat that really to this point hasn't yellowed or changed the color of my eggs that I can tell. And I have some eggs that are close to almost 30 years old, so that's, I guess, saying something that it doesn't yellow. I blow my eggs out with a 1-hole egg blower. It has a bellows and a drill for your hole, and I pierce it with a push pin at the top where I want it, and you just hold your egg upside down over a dish, put the needle inside the hole, and force air into it, and that will push the egg yolk out into a dish. and it makes a nice small hole that's easily covered with wax. And that's how I make my holes, to have blown eggs instead of full ones. You can use an electric kitska, and it's an iron. It gets hot. You need to be careful. Kind of like a wood burning set, but when you use something like this, you have to put in little pieces of colored wax because you don't have the candle to color the wax so that you can see it. So if you use an electric kitska, you need to have the colored wax. These are kind of expensive, and so I tend to use the traditional with the candle flame. Have your Pysanky and enjoy your Easter.